Daniel was born in a small town where life was not easy. His family owned a tiny shop that barely paid for rent and food. From a very young age, he learned what it meant to work hard, helping his father stack shelves, carrying boxes, and assisting customers. While other children spent their evenings playing, Daniel spent his evenings counting coins to see if the family could afford bread for the next day. Despite the challenges, Daniel had something that kept him going: a dream of becoming a teacher. He believed that education could open doors, not just for him but for others in his town. But reality was harsh. His school books were secondhand and torn. Sometimes he had to walk miles just to borrow one from a friend. His shoes wore out, and his stomach often ached from hunger. Still, he kept walking to school every single day. People around him would sometimes laugh. "Why dream so big, Daniel? Life is about surviving, not dreaming." But Daniel never listened. Deep inside, he carried hope like a hidden treasure. At night, he would light a candle and study under its small glow, whispering to himself, "One day, I will make it. One day I will teach." But the journey was not smooth. At 16, tragedy struck. His father fell ill, and Daniel had to take over the shop full-time. Suddenly, his dream seemed too far away. He was angry, frustrated, and at times wanted to give up. Yet something inside reminded him, this is not the end. Every road has bumps, but every road also leads somewhere. And so, Daniel faced his first real challenge: balancing duty to his family with his dream of building a better tomorrow. Years passed. Daniel was now 20. The shop had become his responsibility, and life was a cycle of work and sleep. But the dream still burned inside him. Then one day something unexpected happened. A teacher from the local school visited the shop to buy supplies. She noticed Daniel's old textbooks on a shelf. Curious, she asked, "Do you still study these?" Daniel smiled shyly and said, "I try to whenever I have time." The teacher saw something in his eyes, a fire, a determination that many young people had lost. She encouraged him to apply for a scholarship program in the city. First, Daniel hesitated. He had no money, no connections, and no fancy clothes. But the teacher's words stayed with him. Dreams are never too far if you dare to walk toward them. With courage, Daniel filled out the forms. Weeks later, a letter arrived. He had been accepted. It was the moment his life began to change. The city was overwhelming. Tall buildings, crowded streets, and endless competition. Daniel often felt small and lost, but he never let fear win. He studied harder than ever, sometimes sleeping only a few hours. When others quit, he kept going. When others doubted, he believed. Slowly, his efforts paid off. He graduated with honors. But more importantly, he discovered his true strength: the ability to rise no matter how many times life pushed him down. And when Daniel finally stood in front of a classroom as a teacher for the first time, his voice shook with emotion. He looked at the students, many of whom came from poor families like his own, and said, "Never stop dreaming. Your circumstances do not define your future. Your choices do." Years later, Daniel was no longer just a teacher. He became a mentor, a guide, and a symbol of hope in his community. His story inspired countless students to continue their education, to chase their dreams, and to believe in themselves even when the world told them otherwise. But Daniel never forgot where he came from. Every weekend, he returned to his small town, visited the shop that once chained him, and reminded himself of the nights spent counting coins by candlelight. He used his salary to help children buy books, uniforms, and shoes. He even started a small foundation so that no child in his town would have to give up on education because of poverty. People often asked him, "What kept you going when life was so hard?" Daniel always answered with the same words: "Hope is the road to tomorrow. As long as you walk with hope, you will never lose your way." And so, Daniel's life became more than just his own story. It became a lesson for all. That hardship is not the end but the beginning of strength. That dreams are not foolish but fuel for progress. And that kindness, when shared, can transform not only one life but many. Daniel's road to tomorrow was not easy, but it was worth every step. And his story reminds us all that no matter where we start, with hope, perseverance, and kindness, we can build a brighter tomorrow.